Morning, everyone. I hope traders and investors alike were green yesterday. Yesterday's video, we talked about some levels that needed to be taken out for this market to move up. So let's take a look at the charts and let's see if we took the levels out. The big question is, can we hold them? We had Upstart come out and guide down, had some GME news about layoffs. So things are, getting worse when it comes to the companies. We're coming into earnings next week, next Thursday. Earnings start on the 14th with starts with the banks. It'll get very interesting the week after. We're going to probably see a lot of earnings misses. We're seeing more and more companies guide down. Some companies are, have guided up, like two of the steel companies guided up. So everything's not doom and gloom, but let's just see what we're looking at here. So we do have AMC had a big candle yesterday, moving with sympathy of GME and that stock split. So this is crude. Crude had a nice up candle yesterday, trying to push back up, got back inside of the Bollinger Bands. Actually, looks like it wicked right up to our resistance level. Put the call ratio, we are 81. That is neutral. Looking a lot better. The Nasdaq is showing starting to be in the oversold range. 169 is oversold. 200 is hot, so we're getting pretty oversold there. The New York Stock Exchange is 105. That's pretty good. It's heading to the oversold level if it keeps pushing. The U.S. dollar still outside of the Bollinger Band, still trying to push up. It's the best looking chart that I've seen. The VIX, we did breach this support level. UVXY puts would have worked nicely yesterday as the market was pushing. You can see the 15-minute chart here of UVXY. We pulled down, put in this little double bottom here, and is trying to push. Now that chart only tracks the movement of the VIX during market hours. Unfortunately, it doesn't track it 24 hours a day. Apple, the VIX does, it's part of the futures. It does trade 24 hours a day. Apple, we mentioned yesterday about how we had took this downtrend out. That 50 was the next level. We have retaken the 50. That's a great sign. Question is, can we hold it? AMD, we talked about the 9 needing to take this 9 out. So we did push back into the 9. They were very extended here, so we did need that move to the upside. Question is, can we take this 9 out and can we hold it, or will this just be a bear flag and see rejection? They have not really been coming for the semis. So this is a firm, very strong candle yesterday, but Upstart guided down last night, and after hours. So a lot of these, like Upstart, Affirm, they're seeing some pullbacks, and you can see here there's the down candle that put us back below support, which is now resistance. We actually lost a 50 on the 15 as well. Seems to be chopping around this morning. AMC give back some of its gains as well, back below support. Still is holding the 50 on the 15. So this is AMD. You can see very nice move, very nice push up. We are giving a little bit of it back here in pre-market. This is Amazon. Amazon took this wedge out. It's been trading in this wedge, just basically downtrend. So we took the downtrend out, and we've retooken the 50. That is a very good sign. Question is, can we hold that 50? This is Apple's 15-minute chart. You can see a big move on Apple yesterday. Pulling back in pre-market, actually lost a 50. See what we can do here at this trend line. This trend line should have been drawn a little more towards the price action there. Apple, this is Apple's weekly chart. We have retaken the 9 on the weekly. Very good sign. We will have a new candle Monday. The question is, can we hold this today? And can the new candle on Monday open up above that 50? Boeing, so we were wedged in between two of these moving averages, and we pushed up here. So we pushed right up into resistance. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did push yesterday. Nice candle. Seems like it's pulling back a little bit. I believe it's down about 200 or so this morning. But really nice candle yesterday. Need to watch that 200 on the weekly with Bitcoin. We have to retake that 200 for Bitcoin to push. Now you can see Boeing's had a big pullback this morning. We did gap down here. I have not searched for any news yet. You can see the big push here. Then we chopped around and actually descending the rest of the day. Broke back below the support level. We did gap down to support this morning. So let's see how that plays out today. BNY, another down day for BNY. BNY is breaking below the support or the moving averages. So we're now below the 9, the 20, and the 50. You can start looking here for short opportunities. BTU, a nice push up. We had this hammer candle down here on support level with a big gap up yesterday. Gapped up into the 9. The 9 is now resistance. So this is Chewy we've been watching. It has now completed this cup here. So the question is, can we take this cup out? If we do, the next stop, the next area to look for would be your 200, which is 48.50 on your daily. You can see the nice move here yesterday. You can see it held in after hours. It has pulled back in pre-market and looks like it's trying to recover. The 50 is now resistance. It's struggling trying to get through that 50 now. CVX, nice pullback, a wick off of that 200. CVX 15-minute chart. You can see it was pushing in pre-market and just basically chopped the rest of the day. Lilly, it is pulling back here. We got a little spinning top here, still trying to hold the 9, but when the market's hot, they're coming after tech. It doesn't seem like they want these big pharmas as well. They would, obviously, just like us, we would rather go after tech. With options, tech just pays better. ExxonMobil, you can see the push in pre-market and pretty much just a flat trade there. We thought we were going to get some decent pullbacks on that yesterday, but it never really snatched like we wanted it to. So we talked about how we have hit this level here 3 times. We pushed off from it, but the stock split's got something to do with that push as well. Now news has come out about them laying people off, so we'll have to see how that goes. You can see the huge pullback in after hours. We actually dipped below yesterday's low, just a big, huge snatchback here. Then we have recovered into the 50 to 50s resistance, kind of chopping around in pre-market this morning. The Qs took this downtrend out. That this is awesome. This is a really big deal. Now we have to get above this 50. So hopefully today we can push above this 50. All depends on these numbers. With that $1.3 billion MOC yesterday, that was kind of a sign saying that the money's coming back into the market. Institutional money's coming back in the market. So maybe they're not as worried about the non-farm payroll as I was thinking they were. Yesterday we had very low volume on the SPY, which kind of affected trading quite a bit. Options just did not pay very well yesterday. The price action, even though we had a nice push up, I personally should have switched over to shares instead of deciding. I just decided not to take any more trades. It was just they just weren't paying, and the reversals when you got a quick down candle, you would take like one down candle would take 3 or 4 up candles worth of profits right away and put you back in the red. So to me, it just wasn't worth continuing to trade. I finished the day green barely, and sometimes you have to show discipline being a trader. Sometimes you have to know when to trade and when not to trade. You have to know when you're able to make money and when it's just not worth it. That's part of risk management. If you can lose more money than it's worth to try to make, then it's just not worth trading. So this is the Qs weekly. You can see we are back above the 9 here. We need to hold this. We're barely outside of this wedge. We need to. Would be great if we could push a little harder today and next week's candle on Monday, because this is the weekly chart. We'll have a new candle on Monday. Open up on the outside of that wedge. TLT, another down candle for bonds. That's not good for the market, honestly. IWM, we talked about this 200. This is the weekly. We have pushed back above this 200. We are coming into the 9. Would be nice if we could push a little harder today. At least touch that 9. We need to open up above that 200. Would be even better if we open up above the 9 as well. You can see the daily chart here. We are now back above the 9 and the 20 on the daily. Next target is the 50. We need to take this 50 out. So you can see the 15-minute chart here, a big move up at open, and then we just pretty much chopped. Holding in pretty well in pre-market. We are back below the 50. It has pulled back a little bit, but so far we're holding in pretty well. MRL, we pushed right back into previous resistance, basically this gap here, and struggled with the gap. Meta's retesting. This is the weekly retesting this wedge. We have to get back inside of this wedge if Meta's going to push. Meta on the daily trading inside of this wedge. We're back above the 9 and 20 now. The next target would be this downtrend. This is Meta's 15. You see we had a decent push yesterday, and it's pulling back below the 50 there. Microsoft, a good day for that as well. We've taken that second downtrend out. We took this out. Was even following that as a downtrend. Took that out. Has retaken the 9, the 20, the 50. The next stop for this would be this support level or this resistance level here. We have a ways to go before we get back to the 200. Microsoft's 15-minute chart. So you got choppy. It did pull back at first yesterday, and then it just launched. At the end of the day, we were able to retake the highs, but it couldn't hold it going into after hours, and is pulling back in pre-market a little bit along with the rest of the market. This is Microsoft's weekly chart. So we already had retaken this downtrend. We're above that. The next stop here is the 20. We need to retake that. MRO had a green candle yesterday trying to push back into the 9. See how that can handle that with crude. Crude pulling back the way it did, trying to push yesterday. Still hard to believe that energy's completely done. Its fears of going into a recession is why energy's pulling back like it is. So you can see Oxy here, big push, and then we traded, just basically chopped around the rest of the day. Big push at open. You can see pretty tight range yesterday on Oxy, right back into, so we're taking the 9 and your 20 back. You're right into your 50 there. So the 50's resistance, and you can see that on that daily chart or that 15-minute chart. You can see how it hit something and just stalled out there. Palantir. So if you look at a low, if you look at this as a high, hopefully we can get a higher high here and go into an uptrend. You can see the 15-minute chart, big push it opened and snatched back, pushed again, and then just kind of chopped around the rest of the day. CRM still in this downtrend here, but had a nice candle yesterday back above the 9 and 20. You can see on the 15 it wasn't as big of a push. It wasn't a huge push, but we did get above this resistance level and still holding it. Looks like we're actually a little below it now in pre-market. SoFi, nice push here yesterday, and it's pulling back on that Affirm news or that Upstart news. SoFi daily tested this downtrend here. We need to get out of this wedge here. That's a must. We have to get out of this wedge to push. You can see the 50 right above it. So basically, we need to get above that 50. All right, this is SPY's weekly. What we really need is a strong push today. We need to get above last week's candle to put in a high. So we need today's candle or this week's candle to close today above our previous last week's candle. Preferably if we could get a nice push and get above that 9 on the weekly. That would be huge. If we can close above that and open Monday above that, maybe we can start trying to push back up. I'm not saying new highs, but actually trying to get some decent movement and get some upwards range out of these stocks. So you can see the SPY, we're clearly above the 9 and 20 now. Your next stop would be your 50. Your 50, we've been talking about the 50. Your 50 is actually within this downtrend. The whole time, we've been trying to get back to this 50. It's been steady coming down to the price action. So that 50 on the daily is 395.74. It is possible to go to that today if we push, if they like the non-farm payroll numbers. You can see the SPY's 15-minute chart, strong open, then we just grinded up the rest of the day. We did get back below this support level, which was resistance, and it's pulling back. Tesla still above this 9 on the daily. That's big. We need to stay above this 9 and open up above it. Or I'm sorry, this is the weekly, back above this 9 on the weekly. We need to stay above it, open up above it, and continue to push. This is Tesla's daily. Nice candle yesterday. The 50 is the next target there. So you can see Tesla here. We are pulling back in pre-market. Upstart, a pretty flat candle yesterday, struggling with this wedge. And with that news coming in, look at this big drop here. So that's a $5 drop from where we're at now. And you can see it is going into a downtrend. So we snatch back. They come in, tried to buy it back up, snatch back again, put in a lower low, a lower high. Looks like we want to come down to a lower low. This one is on watch today. A Wells Fargo, kind of flat yesterday, just a small spinning top. We are above the 9 and 20. That's good, but just a spinning top yesterday. And you can see the 15-minute chart, just kind of a boring trade, not really much happening there. ExxonMobil, we did push crude push back up. So, the crude names were pushing. We pushed right back into this 9. So the 9 is resistance there. We need to get above that 9 for this to push. Or is this a bear flag up to the 9? We'll have to see. Today we'll get a good idea of where things are actually going to go today. Opening that new candles, weekly candles, open it up on Monday. You can see Zim here had a really nice push and then pulled back. Let's take a look at the daily on that one. You can see it here. We were down on this support, so we're kind of expecting a push here. We come down. We've tested this support for a couple of days. Nice little hammer candle there, a dragonfly, and then a big push. That's not even really a dragonfly. Dragonfly should be up the top, but you do have a long-legged doji there. A big push into the 9, and then it pulled back. And that concludes our videos for today. I hope to see you in the trading room. Have a good day.